Greetings, Minecrafters. Nonsanity here.
And welcome to episode 4 of my DeVinci Let's Play series. I like my new armor. Ooh, I've even got like a tattoo there on my shoulder. Yeah, welcome. Let's get started. Well, I've got a few new banners here from killing mobs. I went to one of the ages with my new armor, and we have mobs back. We have all the AOA mobs. We figured out the problem. I'll take you in one of those shortly, but want to catch you up on what's been going on here. Not much new on this side. This part is the same, but over here we've got some new stuff. Right in this little area here. First, I wanted to get some bedrockium drums. So what I've got here is a hardened cache. Underneath it is a cobble gen going on here. Got lava and water on either side. So that's staying full with 40,000 cobble. This is an auto packer from the mod Auto Packager. It takes a little bit of power, and it's currently set to 3x3. So basically whatever it takes in from the left, it tries to put into a 3x3 pattern, and it outputs it to the right. And so over here we have compressed cobblestone. Likewise, this one is in this was in 2x2, then 3x3. So let's shift it to 3x3 mode. That's making the double compressed, and this one's making the triple compressed, and this one's making the quadruple compressed. And between quadruple and triple, it's all you need to make bedrockium drums. And I've got almost enough for half a drum, but I've already made one drum, which I've got right here. Haven't used it yet, but I will. Then this thing. A dispenser with a timer and a lever. Very simple. Inside, well, I'll come back to that because I don't have the... Do I have any of the pieces to use in it? I do not. And I probably don't have any in here either. But those little, well, there's some out here. Those little heart things that mobs drop. I think there'd be some in here. Yeah, there's some. I'll take a few. Also take that for something else I want to try later on. Run back over here. Fly. Very fast. Whee. Yeah, these things, if you drop them with a magnet on, they just get sucked up in your inventory. Normally you wouldn't ever have them in your inventory. Normally, if you come in contact one, instead of picking it up, it disappears and adds one to your innervation up here. Oops, this one right here, innervation. But we noticed, I forget who noticed, but someone on the server noticed that if you have a lot of them in your inventory and you pick one up, they all disappear. But you only get credit for the one. So you can't drop a whole stack and get credit for it. Put it in the dispenser, it drops them one at a time, and look at my innervation going up. That's the way to use those. Oh, there's one more here. Now this is just a crystal growth accelerator pool with 5 of the accelerators. So this is for applied energistics. And as you can see, I've got inscribers set up here. I've just placed those down and stuck the inscribers in them. My silicon here, logic engineering calculation up there, and these will be the assemblers, and I will be automating that in a little bit, but I haven't gotten to that yet. Another thing I've got going is down here. Drop down, and we've got a spawner room. Actually, it's a dual spawner room. This side, those little blinky blocks are just some decorative blocks from AOA, Advent of Ascension. I just put them around the blaze spawner there, just as decoration. I also have a lever here that just disables the spawner by turning on all these lights. By putting it down in the floor, I'm reducing the spawn rate somewhat, but it makes it so I can easily turn it off with the floor lights. And we've got a magnetic mob manipulator from Joe's Practicalities. Give it a redstone signal and it will pull the mobs towards it, which we can see if we can turn it back on, which I cannot, so I may be lagged out. I will be right back in a moment. Well, it wasn't lag. My internet went completely out. That's a first. Fios, what have you done? It came back after a while, but it was a bit late. So this is the next day. And I've been doing some adjustments to get this working better in the meantime. As you can see, I've got blazes and blizzes. Why not? Let's turn them off just so things are a little bit quieter. There we go. Much quieter. Alright, so what's going on here? Well, over here, I took out those red flashy blocks. I didn't realize they give off light, so I couldn't... When it was when the lights were turned off, they were still giving off light. And these weren't spawning as fast as they could have. I have upgraded this spawner in two different ways. There is a block of cursed earth under it, because I have activated my sigil and I made a builder's wand. That was a while back. I gave out builder's wands to everybody. So that will keep this running even when nobody's around, if the lights are off. Always make sure you have a way to turn off your farms. I've also used practicalities to upgrade the spawner. There are three upgrades: range, speed, and horde. Range makes it doubles the distance that it searches for a player in order to activate. Since I have the cursed earth underneath it, I don't need it. It's going to be all activated all the time, so I skip that one. But the speed increases the speed at which mobs spawn, and horde increases both the number of mobs per generation and how many it can have at one time in the area. Because regular spawners will cut off when there's too many mobs close by. So that greatly increases the blaze output, which is quite nice. So that gets me lots of essence. So I've got a grinder here, a grinder here. They both are getting power from one of my RF exciters, and they're both giving their mob essence through a fluid conduit into this bedrockium drum here, which has 471 buckets of essence in it now. And it pumps essence out and up into the auto spawner, which is right here. As you can see, there's a lot more than just power and fluid pipes, conduits here. Got a lot of other stuff going on. You can see here power and fluid coming from this grinder. No surprises there, just set to pump out the fluid and send it to the drum. But we also have this item conduit and this redstone conduit. And they're parallel. They run from the auto spawner over here to this chest and the lever that's right next to it. Now that lever is currently in the on position, which is giving redstone signal to this block, which is passing it to this redstone conduit, and that's running along the length. Now what I've got here is the item conduit is the same on both ends. It's set to in and out. The insert is default, and the output, the extract, on this end with the chest is set to active without signal, and at this end it's active with signal. This means that one side will be extracting at a time. Now right now I've got a Blizz Safari Net in the chest, and the switch is on. Turn the switch off. The Safari Net is gone. It's now over in the auto spawner, and it will start generating blazes as soon as its warm-up period countdown is complete. There it is. I flip the switch back, and it's going to suck the Safari Net back out of it and stick it back in the chest. This way I can take it out, swap it for a different one, say chicken. Put the chicken in there, Flip the switch, it sends it over there. Chest is empty now. And it'll start spawning chickens. So this is a, there's a chicken. So this is a pretty cool way to change the Safari net without having to tromp into the room. Let's keep it off for now. And this is just connected to, I can hop down here. It's just lighting up this redstone, which goes to a NOT gate, which goes to all this redstone conduit, and that's turning the lights on and off. I just used the NOT gate there because I wanted to keep the switch working in the same way as this one, where towards the spawner is on, and towards you is off. They're both going to the multi-page chest still. So yeah, that is my auto spawner. And I guess I'm going to leave it because I want to get more blizz rods, just to save on having to do this whole snowball thing. I also put some travel anchors so I can hop up here. I should make a sound block to quiet that thing down, and now I can patch up this hole that I was using to drop down here before. Yeah, put a couple sound blocks down here to mute them. Otherwise I can hear them a little bit when I'm up here. Mainly the ghast, when I was doing the ghast. How is my 169 quadruple compressed cobblestone? I can make lots of bedrockium barrels now. Drums. And I haven't done anything more with applied energistics, so that's probably going to be next. And if you want tutorials on applied energistics and how to get started, check out my channel. I've got a bunch of stuff on applied energistics. So I'm going to do all that offline and set that up. It's going to take a little bit to get everything prepared, and there are better ways to see how that's done, so I'll see you in a little bit. Well, say hello and say goodbye to the Gauditorium. I found these pretty cool looking blocks in one of the Advent of Ascension ages. And I thought, oh, this would be really cool to make a building out of. They're ugly as sin, but still cool looking. And so I built this thing. Just two colors, gold and black. But, you know, it looks sort of cool. Unfortunately, it may be having some bad frame rate issues when anybody looks at it. Now, last night, I built this once before, and then I tore it down to the ground. Not a single one of these blocks was left. There was even less there than I had before. And the frame rate issues didn't go away. And then I restarted, and they did go away. But now I've got a fresh restart, and if I bring up the I gotta bring up the frame rate here. I'm getting 30 while looking at it. If I look away, it goes up to 50, 53, 45, 30. As it comes into view, frame rate drops. As I start to look away from it again, frame rate goes back up again. But let's go around to the other side and make sure it's not something else. Looking away, 49, 45, 43, 39, 32. Definitely going slower when looking at it. Now before, when we were having troubles, some of us were having troubles when looking at it, some of us weren't. And even after I tore it down, I was only getting like 16 when I was looking around in this area. And it was going up and down. I'm definitely getting my frame rate is dropping almost in half when having this in my field of view. So that's with a fresh restart of the client. So it does seem that this is causing frame rate issues. Even though there is something else going on as well. Because when it was gone, I was getting even worse frame rates. I don't understand it. So I thought I'd give you a little view of it here before I tear it down yet again. And this time I won't rebuild it. This is just the interior. This is basically where the cobblestone thing was. The stairway is the same as it always was. See, there's a hatch up there, but let's go around to the back. Oh yeah, I put one of my boss battle statues there and another one over here. But in the back here, I've got an extra little doorway to an upstairs room. It's like an altar. I don't know. I was just doodling, but you can jump down into the inside here. So it is time to destroy it yet again. People have seen it. You've seen it. It has been seen. That's all its real purpose was. It's not needed for any real functional design. Since we have a magnum torch in town here, don't even need a door, really. Though my door is being automatic as it is. It's not a problem. But there's no reason to keep this if its only purpose is to slow down frame rates. So, time to tear it down yet again. It will not be back, but yeah. I will see you in a little bit after I've finished tearing this down and replacing it with something simpler and hopefully a lot less gaudy. Well, that seems to have made a difference this time. Last time it didn't, so not sure why that is, but frame rate now is not significantly changing as I look around. So it was probably these things. Probably a lot of these will cause a problem. These IRO poles. But I don't know for sure because the testing just wasn't conclusive. But I will build something else here to replace it all eventually. Maybe now. Maybe I'll do it. But let's go inside. As I was saying before, I was going to do the applied energistics. One of the other things, I tore down all these drawers to see if they were causing a problem. They weren't. And nothing else in here really was a culprit. But that was before I did the restart, so things were already funky at that point. Put away all this. But yeah, I've got an AE system here, basically a terminal, a crafting terminal, so I can make stuff with it. 2 drives with, these are all 1Ks except for a 16, and these are all 1Ks except for 2 4Ks. The deep storage here for the cobble is attached as a storage bus. And originally I had a storage bus attached to the drawer controller so that all those ingots that I had in drawers were online. But I've moved them straight into the AE system. There was no real reason to keep them separate like that, except, you know, it looked cool. And I suppose I could put it back together again, but, you know, maybe later. Right now I just stuck my silicon on there, which I've got 1,000 of. That's pretty good. The redstone is not currently connected, but I'll probably do that. And none of these are. Yeah, and then to make my circuits, I did set this all up to be automated. Let me get some parts. Need some gold. Oh, I'm out of gold. Wow. I need to go and get more gold. I do have this here, an extreme furnace. This is from Better Furnaces. This one's fully upgraded. I mean, bring up the recipe for it. Nether Star, all the previous tiers, and Eyes of Ender's Endstone, which I made by just sticking a casting basin from Tinker's underneath my magma crucible. And melted some ender pearls in here. They flowed down because it was set to output to the bottom. flow down into the basin, and I just made sure I put in, I think it was sandstone in there, and that creates end stone. But make sure you turn this off before you take the sandstone, the end stone out and replace it. Because once you take the end stone out, it'll start pouring in more liquid ender, and then you can't put any more sandstone in. You end up with an enderium or an ender block, which is useless otherwise. But yeah, this thing is pretty darn fast, and it does doubling. Because we got this advanced ore processing upgrade. Got the factory upgrade, but it wasn't working right for me. I'll have to talk to... Val made this, right? Yeah. No? Wait. No, we don't have the mod maker for this one, I don't think, on the server. But yeah, the factory upgrade is supposed to, connect to adjacent inventories. And it wasn't working too well. I couldn't get that to work. Or maybe it was combining it with the changing of the sides. Also, some of the sides weren't working properly. So right now I've got a item conduit pulling out the bottom into my input ender chest. And it needs, because I've got the power upgrade, this guy, as the fuel. And you see it's got a buffer. This thing in the back handles the power storage. So it's hooked up to the power storage. And actually, power should be going over it. It used to be, but I think I disconnected it at some point. Excuse me. So let's run power over it too, so these things can all get their power. But yeah, if I put in some gold here, it's going to get doubled into dusts, and then the dusts are going to get doubled into gold. So I'm basically getting 4x processing out of these two machines, and it's very, very fast. So that's good. But now, if I get that gold out, 21, I better leave a little bit, just in case, leave one. Get some redstone. Get some silicon. And what I've got is these item conduits set with filters. I can't see those at the moment, but come on. I think I got some lag. Do I? Yep. Be right back. Alright. Back again. So each of these has a filter saying what can go into it. And these three take the halfway built circuits on the top, because this is the top slot, this is the bottom slot, this is the side slot, and this is the side slot. So it's taking the silicon in on the bottom, it's filtered for only silicon. And these guys are all filtered along the back. Like this one takes the gold, this one takes the diamonds, this one takes the pure Certus. Here takes silicon, and these three are the assemblers. And they all have outputs on the back also back to this chest. So I can toss these things in here, and you can see the gold one in here. It's getting pressed. It's set to, the pipe on its back is set to input and output, in and out. The input is filtered, the output is just always on, so as soon as it makes something, it gets pulled out. It will either get sent to the chest, or if there's a place for it to go, which there is for these printed logic circuits, they get sent down here, and along with the redstone and the silicon, and they get pressed into the final product, which gets extracted back to here. So it's all automated based on item conduits. Fairly simple and straightforward, and that'll let me make more drives. But I can make the one more that I need right now, just to fill out my current drive with an empty slot. There we go. And this is my input chest right here. Instead of getting sent into this guy, which is now empty, it's getting imported into the system with a whole bunch of speed upgrades. So I can dump things into my ender pouch and they get sent into the AE system. So when I'm mining, I can empty out my inventory, which with this guy doesn't take too long. It's so fast. You saw it taking down the building. And now it's raining. Well, we have a solution for rain, don't we? Practicality is sadistic. Rain and day. Very handy. So I'm going to have to build something here. Don't know what. But we'll do that on another episode, or I'll show you what I've done in another episode, because I don't know what I'm going to build, so it's not going to be interesting watching it. So I'm going to flail around with different materials. Make sure I use stuff that's not going to cause some major lag. So the mob spawner's still running here. How are we doing for storage? Well, it's on page 4, so I'm going to have to shut it down soon. Or just start sending everything to the trash. Tons of these. Lots of these. The mod should probably make it so that they don't get dropped unless a player kills a mob. Because my innovation is at 96 just from doing this. Even got more over here. 56 wither skeleton skulls. Is that it? That's it. Oh, I was running all night. So it's almost a stack overnight. Not too bad. Head back up. Alright, well, we'll call it a wrap here. And I will see you next time. Hopefully, oh, I still have more in here that I need to get rid of. Don't ever pick one up when you've got all these in your inventory. They'll all disappear. So I need... Well, maybe I'll repurpose this. Oh, there was still stuff in there. Whoops. Let's make a mess. Boom. Oh, I don't have the chest. Now I've got a real mess on my hands. Somewhere in here is the chest. Anyway, I'll clean this up, and I will see you next time. Take care, be good, and see you next time. Come on, chest. Where are you? There you are.